Hello everyone and welcome to another video. Well, after yesterday's marathon of a round, I decided to try and do something a little different today. I presume a few of you will have come across this channel, GeoWizard, a fellow Brit who also plays GeoGuessr. And I saw recently that he uploaded this video, A Diverse World, No Moving Around, Play Along. And I've seen a few of these play-along videos before, but I thought, why not actually give it a try and see how it goes? So this is the video I'm going to do today. I won't play this video here, of course, but I will try and remember to link to it so that you can go and watch the GeoWizard's video yourself. But this is the round here, so no moving around number 4. So if you do follow the link to the video, you can click it and play the map that I am about to play as well. I thought I would play along and see how well we do, and then at the end of the video, I guess it'll all be revealed. So let me just shift over. Right, so this is the Diverse World map. I've just clicked the link in the description on GeoWizard's video, and this is the first round. So I've not seen this one before. It looks European. Very European, in fact, with this sort of concrete structure here. And we've got Pigdi Steklana Hrastnik. Okay. Not a language I recognize. And let's see what's over here. So some rolling hills, some beautiful hills. In fact, obviously I can't read that river sign, but we're by a river. Roken, Poken, something like that. It sounds like very completely blurred out, so can't read that one. We're driving on the right, sitting on the left. I can't see an indication that we're in the Euro area here with the number plates, because they don't seem to have the blue bit on them, or at least that card doesn't. We'll take a look at the others in just a sec. The sun is firmly in the south, so yeah, that fits. Yeah, and it looks sort of a bit industrial, I would say. This is definitely some railway here. The river, this is maybe a power facility or something, I'm not sure. As for this place on the left, I don't know, it almost looks like a hospital or something, maybe it might be, so I'm not sure about that one. Oh, now there we can see them. Yes, you can see the blue flash of colour on the left-hand side of the number plates. So we're definitely in the Euro area. Right, so I don't think I've got much to go on here. The building architecture and the landscape and this language make me think that we might be in Slovenia. I'm not really sure why, but that's just sort of the way I feel. I think it's particularly this writing, this kind of the HR, for example. Like I associate that with maybe like Croatia as well. Like I don't know. It just sort of fits the bill a bit. But I'm thinking it's quite hilly, isn't it, around us here? So we're possibly sort of in the Dolomites region of Slovenia, or something like that. So why don't we just go for a guess? I can't read the sign, of course, and I mean we're unlikely to get it sort of close. But oh, hang on, there's a map here. No, there is not. That's not a map. It's just a notice board. It looked like a tourism map or so on. And I think actually the main road is this way. So I wonder if we aren't possibly in this region around Zagreb, maybe, or maybe in sort of eastern Slovenia. I think that might be where I go, just because in the west here this is quite mountainous still, and although it's hilly around us, I don't think we are there. But we could easily be in Croatia. I'm not sure of the writing of the language that's being used. So, and what's this country here? Bosnia, yeah, possibly as well. Who knows? I think I'll go with Slovenia, which was my first guess. Why don't we go somewhere around Rogia? Why not? Let's go for that guess. Oh, yes. That is remarkably close. Well, superb, in fact. Again, just a hunch really nothing else to it. But we were actually near Trebolja. Please forgive my pronunciation. I have been to Slovenia once. It's a very lovely country, but really only as far east as Ljubljana. So the rest of the country, as far as I'm concerned, unexplored for me, but happy to have nailed that one. It could easily have been Croatia. This looks altogether more Italian, maybe. Just to confirm, we can't move here, by the way. That is one thing I should have clarified earlier. We can move around, but we cannot move. Fournel, so maybe France then. We've got a Christian cross here. No hedgerows on the sides of these roads. The sun again firmly in the south, but definitely that word Fournel is fits with us being in France. So I'm going to assume that is where we are. We can actually see a great way into the distance here. Really sort of the visibility is just amazing. So to the south we can see some hills here. I mean, these are pretty substantial. They're not the Alps, but they're big. So big hills to the south, rolling countryside in France. At least I believe we're in France. I'm not sure about this stop sign. That's perhaps a little unusual. I don't know what it says on the other side of it though. So the only other thing to go by, I think, at the moment then is the sort of buildings. Now we see these kind of terracotta styled roofs, and I associate that, to be honest, more with Italy. You know, these sort of tall, thin trees on the top of hills, for example, feels Italian to me. But I'm going to stick with France, I guess. Let's just take a look at this word again. Fournel. Don't know what that means, of course, but just check if there's no other clues that I may have missed. I think this red and this white pillar here with the red stripe on it is what you get in France. Again, into the distance, into the south, we can see hills in the distance. So quite a long way. I think we're going to be in sort of central France then, looking south, perhaps on this sort of outskirts of the Alps. It's a hard one really, because I think we're quite far south. I just associate the red terracotta roofs, or whatever this is, clay roofs. I'm not sure of the material, but the red roofs there is what I mean. With sort of the southern, the sort of hot climates and so on. So don't know really. Gonna have to take a guess, as with all of these, but I'm going south. Maybe we'll go with something like Toulouse, because we can see in the distance these hills, and perhaps we're looking at the Pyrenees. They're less substantial than the Alps, aren't they? So I'm going to go with Auch, A-U-C-H. We're actually not in that town, are we? We can see a town in the distance though. So wouldn't it be great to imagine that that's to our south? So I'll say we're here, by Roquefort. All right. Well, good luck. And, not a million miles off either. We were a little more central. I think I was looking around Lyon earlier, but really a complete guess. The hills then that we were looking at, I mean, Parc Naturel Régional des Monts d'Ardèche. So maybe this is the region that we were looking at. And you can see, well, maybe if you scroll in a bit, yes, it is quite hilly around there. So that's clearly what we were looking at. So fantastic. Viewing south there. Beautiful. Okay. Next round. Don't feel to be doing too badly here at the moment. Over 9,000 points in 2 rounds. Goodness, where is this? This looks crazy. Wow. Oh my goodness, look at the sky. Isn't that just fantastic? Look at this view. That's the thumbnail right there. It has to be, doesn't it? I love these fantastic vistas. Well, this feels desolate. This is completely different to France where we were just now. Complete, Martian lunar landscape. It really is. Now, in the distance, is that land or is that not land? Are we just looking at I think we are looking at land here. So this is clearly, this is a substantial lake, or more likely the ocean. But I think, although it's very dark there underneath those clouds, I think we're just with features like that, although that might be where the images get stitched together, but it feels to me like we're looking at land that's panning around over here. This is to our north. So some kind of fjord there. The sun is also to our north and quite low in the sky. So we're in the southern hemisphere here, and I'm going to put us in Chile. The reason is looking west. I think here then we're looking. Oh goodness, no, we're not. We're looking at yet more land. So looking west, we're looking into land. Well, this could put us in Argentina. We're definitely down in Patagonia or Ushuaia or something like that. It's looking to the south now, yet more hills. So let's get in there and try and triangulate as to where we might be, because this is pretty desolate looking stuff. There's lots going on around here in terms of the coastal landscape, so it's going to be impossible, frankly, to imagine, which inlet we're looking at and all the rest of it. But generally speaking, to the south we see hills. The sun is very low in the sky to the north, so we're quite far south in the world. To the east, I don't feel like the coast is out there. If anything, I feel like this inlet, which is to our north, this looks like the coast to me out here. This just looks more expansive and great, doesn't it? But then in the distance, look at these mountains you see over there. So clearly some complex geography going on. These mountains are to our west. Now, as for where the sort of main landscape is here in terms of what's mountainous, Tierra del Fuego, Ushuaia, yes, there we go, yeah. This could easily be what we're looking at, because we've got here Mont Darwin. This is clearly a mountainous region. And a very complex coastline. So I think we're doing okay here. The question is just where are we? We're perhaps looking at this Lago Fagnano, or the Beagle Channel. We're just going to have to take a guess, really, aren't we? We might be up here. But what road are we on? Let's just check out the road we're on very briefly. It's pretty big road. The road's running north-south. The inlet's to our north, and we've got here some settlements. So we're looking, the road will be to the north. So perhaps we are here. I think we might be looking north at this landscape here. This is the end of the bay that we can sort of see swooping around us, and then out to the west, all of the mountains. So this I think fits the bill. I have absolutely no idea or confidence in this, to be honest, but this is as good a guess as any. I'm pretty happy with it. Are we actually on this road, on the 3? Are there any roads going off it? Possibly, yes. We might be on this road right here, for example. So that's the guess. Down in Tierra del Fuego. So let's see if we're good. I've got a good feeling about this in the end. And we were further up north. Oh, that's a little frustrating. Same logic applies. Lago Gral Carrera. We were actually in Argentina, and we were looking north at this lake mass here. And we were on the 43, and this lake swoops around here, and then the mountains we were looking at were off to the west here. Mont San Valentin, Sierra de Avellanos. So anyway, it was a lake. It could have been any one of these, frankly. So a bit unfortunate there to not score so highly, but I was going bold by going so far south. Okay, next round. Wow, another empty landscape stretching into the distance. This is just amazing. This feels more North American. We've got here a stop sign on the road. Can't read that, unfortunately. That would be a great telltale sign, but my goodness, look at where we are. Again, remember, I cannot move here, so unfortunately I can't go down there to read that sign. Definitely driving on the left and sitting on the... Oh, actually, I say that, driving on the left. No, that wouldn't make sense, would it? What do we think? What side of the road do we think we're driving on here? Aha! Well, it only takes a little more scrolling around to solve this mystery. So, R39. These signs are consistent with South Africa, actually, and I'm sure if we look at the sun, we'll confirm that it's to the north. That's right, so we are not in the States. I forget which side of the road they drive on in South Africa, but perhaps it's the same as Britain. In which case, driving on the left, sitting on the right. That's what threw me and made me think, pardon me, that that we might not be in the States. And of course, I should have just panned around a little further to see the sign. So now we know that it's there. We just have to do a bit of searching for the R39 and these two towns, which are Ermelo, and which is to the east, and Standerton, which is to the west, and the road is going east-west. We're looking for the 39, so let's just do a bit of searching. And we just need to see some R numbers, don't we? Which ones are R numbers? Do they appear? Yeah, they do appear, but unfortunately, you have to zoom in quite a way before they show up on the map. Goodness, that's annoying. So how are we going to do this then? We need to sort of consistently search South Africa. I might just look briefly for the locations here, Ermelo and Standerton, instead of the actual road. Ermelo and Standerton. So give me some seconds. We'll try and find these. Dum-da-dum-da-dum. Quite hard to scan for these towns and just read all of the names. Perth, Setterloge, Ermelo, and Standerton. Of course, these two towns might be quite a long way apart from each other, and they might be quite small, but I think they should be here at this kind of level. We've got Pretoria now. We're sort of exploring the northeast of South Africa. I'm just trying to keep the border in the view here. It looks quite flat, doesn't it, this landscape? So, that might give some things away as to maybe parts of South Africa that we can start with. I don't see anything here. Ermelo, and Standerton. It doesn't feel like we're on the coast, but that's no reason. Ermelo. Yes, found it. Okay. Excellent. There is Ermelo, and we're looking down the R39 here, which I don't see going northeast, so it only goes southwest to Standerton. Okay, great. So, well, we're going to be somewhere along there. The question is how far, and unfortunately, there are no sort of indications as to the distance here as to where we can triangulate. So what can we do? Well, we know that there's a road approaching us from the south at a slight diagonal, so slightly off in the southeast. So perhaps we can just go with that basically and just track along this road for a quick second and see what there is. It's also a T-junction we're at, so we know that there's no road going off there. So that is a candidate. Candidate here. This is potentially one as well. So is this one. I don't think we're in this town, for example. This is a candidate. That's a candidate. Ah, dear. No, that's not a candidate because that's a crossroads. Yeah, another one. So there's plenty of options here. It's going to be a hard one to guess, really. So it is a guess, and the best thing we can do basically is just go with the middle, because it's equally as likely to be to our east, our north and east, as it is to our south and west. I mean, it would be lovely to pick one and maybe go for an amazing guess. But why don't we go for this one? Because it's at least then kind of in the middle. And, you know, should be... Therefore, if it is wrong, it will be the closest to whichever one is right, you would imagine. So let's go with the guess. Oh, and it was the one just further down. So can you believe it? Still, 4963 there. We nailed that, and very lucky to have found, Anello. Have I been saying Anello? I mean, Ermello. Perhaps on the sign, the M and the N was sort of compressed into an N. Not sure. If I was saying that incorrectly, I do apologize. Ermello and Standerton. Two towns I'd not heard of. But, yeah, there we are in the sort of northeast-ish of South Africa. Okay, next round. And I think this is the final round. We're doing okay here, I think. 17087, he says. Touch wood. The sun is pretty firmly in our south here, so that puts us in the northern hemisphere. An awful lot of trash by the side of the road. That's quite something. Having said that, the sun is sort of to the west as well, isn't it? It's quite blurred out. So the reason I'm doubling back on myself is the roofs here. This is quite interesting. I mean, is that a Sri Lankan flag? That's not a very European-looking roof. It looks more decorative and possibly, you know, something that you might see in sort of Southeast Asia. So just going by what was first shown to us there, but who knows. Panning around, and there's all sorts of things going on here. It's really quite interesting. We're sort of in an area that looks relatively industrial, if I'm honest. Kind of jungly as well at the same time. Two huge power lines there, or telecommunications towers. All sorts going on here in terms of wires and cables, but also things like tractors and other farm equipment. So it's both industrial and rural. I mean, I don't know. Hills in the distance. Going to try and keep this going and wrap it up shortly, but this is peculiar. This is the one I'm most confused by, so I'd be curious to hear how to see how GeoWizard does here and how we do as well, and go back. I mean, I think the purpose of these play along videos is you can go back and compare and see what he's looking at. So that's the best way to learn, isn't it? You know, from other people who are much better than you. We've got here some greenhouses that have been set up, yeah, and just a ton of... This is trash as well. I mean, it could look like building supplies, but there's a television in here, for example. It looks like it's a real mess. So this is confusing me. On a first glance, European, sun in the south. But scooting around over here, the sun is in the west. So I still think we are in the northern hemisphere. That said, these roofs, a bit strange. Possible Sri Lankan flag, although not sure about that. With some trees that are very, you know, these aren't tropical looking trees at all, to be honest. These are way more sort of, you know, temperate. This is not water, it's just silver roofs of these buildings. In the distance, some pretty big hills. And all sorts of industrial stuff going on. I'm really, really not sure. What is this building over here? We haven't looked in this direction so much. And we've got the car as well. The car's driving on the left. I think it's going forward in this direction. So driving on the left side of the road. Is it? Or am I wrong? No, the sun is hard to tell which way the car's pointing. Yeah, I think we're driving this way. Sorry, this is forward here. So driving on the right, sitting on the left. So that rules out like Japan, for example. This doesn't feel like Japan. This is too dirty, presumably, for Japan. Oh, this is confusing. Well, I don't know on this one, and we can't spend all day looking at it, can we? So let's go for a guess. I'm inclined to sort of go back with southeast, so with sort of Eastern Europe in the south over here. Maybe something like sort of Bulgaria or Serbia or down in Albania. I might go with Albania on this one. It feels, I don't know, the trash, the mix of industrial and farming, the hills that surround us here to the sort of north and east, make me think that we could be in sort of central Albania, but I just don't know. I've thought about Japan and Sri Lanka on this round, so you can tell how confused I am. I don't recognize these huge power line poles here with the red and white. That I'm really not sure. So it's a bit of a guess on this one, and I'm just curious to see what it is, and then learn from other professionals and see what they come up with. So why don't we go here for a guess near Kuchove and just see how we do. I'm very curious to see if I've missed anything here. And we were absolutely miles away. 44 points. We were actually in South Korea, it seems. Yep, would have had no idea there. I really, don't know. Those power lines maybe were the giveaway. I would associate them more maybe with Taiwan or Japan, but we ruled out Japan, I think because of the side of the road that the car was on. Korea, there we go. Or South Korea rather. So, look, didn't nail it all, but I think on the whole, the first 4 rounds were pretty good. We did quite well. We got Slovenia spot on. We got France near enough by. We had the right idea, I think, in South America, although we didn't nail it. South Africa, we absolutely nailed. And the final round there, well, you saw how it went. Not great. Let's see the high score. A diverse world created by Mapper. The game settings were no time limit, no move. That's how I did. I mean, look, some people here, just get everything. I mean, 5,000, 5,000, 5,000, 5,000, 5,000. It's absolutely astonishing how you can get, that level of score, and be so correct here, really. 58 minutes and 24 seconds that person took. So that's an hour. But then this person here, GeoTom, got 24,964 points in 3 minutes and 52 seconds. So, what? I mean, that's just absolutely bizarre. How does that work? We'd be curious to see here where we are. Yes, we're not even in the rankings. GeoProspector, 17,131 at the end. So, there's plenty of people above us. So, great to see, though. Good to try this challenge. I've not done this before, so do let me know in the description below if you've played this game or not from the GeoWizard's channel and how well you did. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.